All right, so in this final portion of the 5-8 videos, we're going to learn a really nice way to find the area of a triangle. And I'm telling you, it's going to end up being one of your favorite ways to do it. So in this case, we have a triangle that could be any kind of triangle. It's not necessarily right. It's not necessarily obtuse or cute. We don't know. It's just a random triangle where I know the length of 3 sides and I want to be able to find the area of the triangle. Now, this first way that we're doing it, this is not going to be our final way. So if you just want to watch instead of having to write everything down, please feel free. So what we would do first in this situation is, hold on, there we go. We're going to use that formula for 1/2 AB times the sine of C. So in order to use that, we need to find the measure of angle C. And it didn't matter. I could have used angle A, angle B, angle C. It didn't matter as long as I picked the right formula to go with it. So in this case, we picked C. So in order to find C, I would use the law of cosines. And I would do some work. And I would get that C is 83.2 degrees. And so now I know A is 11, B is 13, and big C is 83.2. So if I plug it into that formula, move me over here, then I would be able to say, maybe, oh, there we go, that we get the area to be 71.0 units squared. So again, we just found the area of a triangle without finding the height. We found a measure of an angle, and we used that formula. So what I want is a faster formula than that. Okay, and so this formula is called Hero's formula. And so it's going to shorten up the process for us. So in Hero's formula, capital S is representing the semi-perimeter. So anytime you see semi or hemi, it means half of something. So semicircle is half of a circle. Hemisphere is half of a sphere. So in this case, semi-perimeter is half of the perimeter. And so remember that a perimeter of a triangle is the sum of the measures of its sides. So I'm doing half of A plus B plus C. My formula says if I take the square root of my semi-perimeter times my semi-perimeter minus A times my semi-perimeter minus B times my semi-perimeter minus C, that gives me the area of a triangle. So if we go back to that previous example, remember we said the area was 71.0. Let's see if we get the same thing. So they told us that A, B, and C had those measures. And so my semi-perimeter is going to be half of their sum. And so that means my semi-perimeter is 20. And if you don't believe me, you can add it up in your calculator and check it. So if I plug that in, I've got my semi-perimeter of 20 times 20 minus A times 20 minus B times 20 minus C. And we plug all that into our calculator and voila, we get 71.0 units, just like we did on the previous slide. All right, so we're going to use Hero's formula to be able to find the area of this triangle. So we have a side of 8, that's my A value, my B value is 7, and my C value is 3. So the first thing we need to do is find that semi-perimeter. So that's going to be half of the perimeter, so half of A plus B plus C. So go ahead and plug that in your calculator and see if you can figure out that semi-perimeter. All right, and so I'm looking at half of, and I get 15 plus 3 is 18, which gives me a total of 9. So that is my semi-perimeter. And so then if I go to find the area, and again, if you look in the book will use big K instead of A because we don't want to get it mixed up with what we have going on here. So that's going to be, again, the semi-perimeter times the semi-perimeter minus A times the semi-perimeter minus B times the semi-perimeter minus C. And so we're going to get the square root of 9 times 9 minus 8 times 9 minus 7 times 9 minus 3, just substituting semi-perimeter A, B, and C. So in my calculator, I'm going to, when I do the square root, it gives me this parenthesis here, and so it's going to work out for me. And I can even put a little extra one here to make sure I close that off. If you have a backwards calculator, just do all this work, figure out that answer and then ask your calculator to take the square root of that. All right, so in here, I'm going to say take the square root of, and then I've got 9 times parentheses 9 minus 8 times, and then parentheses 9 minus 7, and then times parentheses 9 minus 3. So I'm going to close my 9 minus 3 and I'm going to close my square root, and I get that the area is about 10.4 units squared. So I don't have to drop a height, I don't have to use sign, I don't have to do anything, I can just plug it into this beautiful formula.